They said this would be one of the most beautiful hikes in the world. They also forgot to mention the freezing winds, river crossings, and the constant smell of sulfur. I'm about to spend 6 days hiking solo across Iceland's Highlands. 75 kilometers through volcanic deserts, glacier rivers, and weather that can change in the minutes. 6 days, 2 trails, 0 guarantees. I have no idea what's waiting out there, but there's only one way to find out. The main trail, Laugavegur Trail, is 4 days, 55 kilometers, crossing some of the most surreal landscapes on Earth. From steaming geothermal valleys to black volcanic deserts and glacier-fed rivers. Which sounds amazing, right? Until you realize beautiful also comes with freezing winds, river crossings up to your thighs, and the occasional "is this an active volcano" moment. And just when you think it's done, I'm adding the Fimmvörðuháls Trail. Another 25 kilometers over volcanoes and waterfalls, ending at the famous Skógafoss. This is where it all begins, Landmannalaugar. I spent a day here exploring hot springs, lava fields and rainbow mountains. There's a whole video on what you can see here, but today the real journey starts. Day 1 is a 12-kilometer hike from Landmannalaugar to Hrafntinnusker hut, climbing steadily into the Highlands. The weather forecast promised wind and rain later, so I'm starting early. While the skies are still blue, my socks are still dry and my optimism hasn't frozen solid. Alright, this is the start of the Laugavegur Trail. Day 1 of 4 of the section, and then there will be another 2 days afterwards. Last night was pretty good. Slept in nice hut. Even played some board games with some people that I met on a group, so quite fun. This morning is blue skies, beautiful weather. Couldn't ask for anything better, so yeah, looking forward to see what the day has to offer. So yeah, let's do this. It's just after 7 a.m. and I'm finally on the trail. The sun's out, the skies are clear, and for now, Iceland is pretending to be friendly. The first few kilometers are pure magic. Volcanic sand crunches under your boots, rainbow-colored mountains rise around you, steam drifts lazily in the distance. It's calm, quiet, and almost peaceful. And then there's the smell. Let's just say if you ever wondered what 1,000 boiled eggs smell like, this is your chance. It's all coming from geothermal vents scattered across the valley, and while it's not exactly pleasant, it somehow makes this place feel even more otherworldly. Like you've landed on a living, breathing planet. I had to keep stopping, not because the trail was hard yet, but because every turn revealed just another insane view. Mountains painted in reds, yellows and greens. Patches of snow clinging stubbornly to black volcanic slopes. Everywhere you look, the landscape feels like it was designed to mess with your sense of scale. This is what I came for, and we're only just getting started. So day 1 should be sort of one of the biggest climbs, 600 meters or so. The rest of the trail is mostly downhill, flat. The difficulty of this trail is always about the weather. So today's very nice, great day for a hike. Just can't believe I'm back here again. Always wanted to do this Pacific Trail, and very happy to at least have one day of good weather. So yeah, thanks to the weather gods for that. See what the rest of the trail has in store, but I'm a very, very happy man right now. So yeah, I'll hike about 10 kilometers today, about 650 meters of gain, and see that the next out of Appleton. I'll put the name here, I can't remember the name. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit windy up there, I think. But look at these views. After the first few kilometers of relatively easy walking, the trail starts to climb, and this is where the things get interesting. The path snakes up towards the Caldera ridge, cutting across loose volcanic sand that seems to have a personal vendetta against hikers. Every 2 steps forward comes one graceful slide back, just like Iceland's way of asking, "Are you sure you want to be here?" The higher I climbed, the more the wind picked up. That calm sunny morning, gone. Now it's icy gusts straight to the face and temperatures dropping fast. Gloves on, jacket zipped, hood up, welcome to the Highlands. But honestly, every time I thought about complaining, I'd look up and the views would just wreck me. We've got steaming vents below, rainbow mountains stretching into the distance, and patches of snow hanging on like they were clinging to life itself. It feels otherworldly, like hiking on a planet that hasn't quite finished forming yet. By now the wind was howling, my fingers were numb, and honestly I needed a win. So I stopped, sat on a rock and reached for my secret weapon, crisp balls. I bought them back home at an action store in the Netherlands and never tried them before, and oh my gosh, game changer. Salty, crunchy, life-saving morale boost. Honestly, I wish I packed an entire bag of just these.
The wind had picked up even more, cutting straight through every layer I had on. I could feel the temperature dropping fast. This wasn't the place to linger. And then, finally, I saw it, the hut. A tiny speck of wood and metal in the middle of endless volcanic plateau, looking like I had no business of being here at all. Honestly, I kept wondering how they even built this thing. The weather up here is no joke. Inside, I met the warden, hands down one of the nicest people I ever spoke to. He gave us a quick weather update and a bit of a local geology wisdom about the surrounding Caldera and some solid advice about the river crossings coming in the next stages. If you're hiking the trail, always check in with the warden. They're basically your lifeline out here. I got lucky and arrived early, around 12 PM, which meant I could pick the furthest single bed in the back corner. By evening, the hut was full, buzzing with groups swapping stories and battling over kitchen space. And wow, the kitchen actually surprised me. Pots, pans, coffee grinders, French presses. It was like Iceland secretly running a hipster cafe on top of a volcano. If I'd known, I would have brought actual coffee instead of sad instant sachets. Outside though, the weather turned. By late afternoon, rain hammered the hut and the wind screamed across the plateau, shaking the walls. I couldn't help but pity the campers. The tents were taking a beating out there. I was very grateful for my solid roof and 4 walls tonight.
I think my body has been nice and tired. I think mentally and physically I'm a bit tired from the last while of traveling and being busy at home. So I actually took a nap now, so it doesn't really happen often. But it's miserable outside, very windy, very cold. Feel sorry for those people in the tents outside. Not the best place to tent up here. It's typically always windy here apparently, so tough one.
As the storm rolled in, I settled into the warm kitchen, made some lunch, chatted with a few fellow hikers and spent the rest of the afternoon reading while the wind howled outside. By dinner, everyone had crowded in. The warden returned with the next day's forecast, and let's just say day 2 isn't looking very friendly. But that's a problem for tomorrow. I woke up around 7 AM on day 2 feeling nervous. Inside the hut it was warm and quiet. Outside though I could hear the wind pounding the plateau and rain slapping against the windows. And I'll be honest, I was very, very happy not to be one of those poor souls in the tent last night. Those things looked like they'd been in a boxing match with the wind, and lost. So I took my time, made a slow coffee, had a breakfast, read a bit. Basically procrastinating starting the hike until someone forced me to leave. And that someone was the warden. Around 9 AM he finally came in and said, "If you're going today, now's your chance. It's probably the calmest it's going to get. Translation, go now or suffer later." That was all the motivation I needed. I packed my bag fast and I thought humanly possible, laid up in full rain gear and stepped outside, straight in cold mist and drizzle. Welcome to Iceland.
So yeah, I'm not sure how much views we're going to have today, but last night was fun. Like I said, a long day at the hut, so I can just chill. When the groups started coming in, yeah, it was busy and loud. Yeah. Anyway, so see those groups also have sort of a vehicle that can bring like food and sort of extra bags and stuff, so if you don't want to carry everything, that's probably a way to go. Otherwise, yeah, it was storming and rain and lots of wind last night and also early this morning. This is probably the best we're going to get for now, so trying to make the most of it.
The moment I stepped out of the hut, I felt like I walked into another world. Thick clouds clung to the Caldera, wrapping everything in mist. The ground steamed from geothermal vents, patches of snow reflected the dull grey light, and the air smelled faintly of sulphur and adventure. Visibility? Let's just say, if there were epic mountain views out there, Iceland wasn't ready to share them with me just yet. It felt like hiking through a dream, a very cold, damp dream where you occasionally question your life choices. There's something eerie about hiking up here in this weather. No landmarks, no hikers in sight, just shapes fading in and out of the fog. It's calm but also hauntingly beautiful. Like Iceland's testing whether you can handle the Highlands before it shows you the good stuff. I didn't complain though. Honestly, the whole moodiness made the whole thing feel cinematic. Like I was walking through the set of some Icelandic fantasy epic where dragons would totally fit in.
Wow, this first section is just so beautiful. Feels like Mars, like moss grew over or something. It's incredible. So far the rain has not come yet, so happy with that. Let's see how far I can go before the rain starts. But yeah, first quarter done or so. Beautiful.
Eventually the trail started dropping down from the Caldera. That's when I heard it first, the sound of rushing water. My first glacier-fed river crossing of the trip. Standing on the bank, it didn't look too bad, until you remember that this water is basically liquid ice straight from the glacier. I rolled up my pants, swapped into my water socks and went for it. It wasn't deep, just above the ankles, but wow, it was cold enough to reconsider every decision that led me to this point. And because I'm filming this trip, I obviously had to cross the river 3 times to get the shot. And as you can see, not even the best shot. My feet, not impressed. Once I was on the other side and thawing, the trail opened up into one of the most breathtaking sections of the entire Laugavegur Trail so far. A vast black sand valley stretched out ahead. The contrast was insane. And way off in the distance I could see it. Álftavatn hut, right by the edge of a lake, waiting like a tiny speck of warmth and comfort in the middle of the alien landscape. This is why people hike this trail. Moments like this make the freezing water, the rain and the wind completely worth it. I got there around 1 p.m, early enough to choose my bunk bed. This time I snagged one right by the window for a little extra privacy. Well, as much privacy as you can have with a room of 12 snoring strangers. And wow, this how it felt amazing once again. You can pay by card, the kitchen is fully stocked, there's a tiny shop at the warden's office, and yes, an actual restaurant serving hot meals. Obviously, I had to try it. I went for the soup, salad and bread combo with an ice-cold beer. 33 euros sounds insane until you've spent hours hiking through the rain and mist. Up here, Iceland beer tastes like magic. After lunch, I spent the rest of the afternoon warming up, reading and relaxing in bed, listening to the wind outside while staying perfectly cozy inside. Later the group started arriving, the huts filled up and new friendships formed over stoves and freeze-dried dinners.
It can get quite boring in a room like this if you're here from 1 o'clock. I had a nice lunch at the restaurant here. They do have a nice warm lunch. They do dinner as well if you're interested in that. After for the lunch, a nice little treat, some desserts and a beer. I think that was close to 30 euros. So it's a treat, but something I wanted to do. But yeah, it is expensive. The beer was very good though. I have to say, the beer was very, very good. And the dessert as well. Nice little treat for a cold day like today. It's the rest of the day just been chilling. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. I had my first river crossing today and that was interesting. A lot of people didn't seem very in the mood for it. It was still raining a bit and cold. But I managed to cross it quite easily. For the most part, it's not very deep. I think at one part it sort of goes down to maybe just under knee level, so not very deep. But it does gush a bit. It looks worse than it is. Of course, it's a bit cold, but yeah, warm up quickly afterwards again. But yeah, now just relaxing and waiting for the evening meal. It's now 10 to 5. The groups are still coming. It's quite quiet still here in this place, so that's nice. Probably do dinner around 6 and have another hot meal. Yeah, so looking forward to that.
I woke up on day 3 to something I never thought I'd see in Iceland. Blue skies. No rain, no wind, just perfect golden light spilling over the lake and mountains. The view from the hut was unreal. Blue lake meeting blue sky, surrounded by colorful mountains glowing in the early morning light. honestly, I didn't want to leave. It would have been very easy to make another coffee, grab a book, and spend the entire day pretending I was a Viking on a staycation. But unfortunately, I still had 15 kilometers to hike to Emstrur. So I laced up my boots, packed my bag, and hit the trail. Not because I wanted to leave, but because I couldn't afford the room service.
Wow, I'm just gobsmacked with how beautiful this weather is. Never in my wildest dreams thought you'd get a perfect day like this. Ah, incredible. So today, 16 kilometers. I think there's 2 river crossings. One will be quite soon. A little bit of up and down here and there. Might be a small canyon as well. Yeah, let's see what kind of views we get today. But yeah, it's supposed to be a 5-hour hiking. Might stop for quite a bit more. It takes 6-7 hours. It's 8:30 now, so I have a lot of time on my hands. It's just a quick hut review. This hut was actually quite nice. Very nice kitchen area. Yeah, it was quite warm. I had to open the window in the middle of the night. But yeah, I think one thing to know that I didn't know before coming to this trip, you're staying in the huts. They're pretty well sorted. So you've got a lot of cooking utensils and things like that. They don't really have to bring anything except the food. A lot of people make their own food here, so not your dry meals, but actually just making food. And then for the coffee lovers out there, I bought the stupid cappuccino sachets, but every hut I've been so far, they've got these coffee presses and plungers and all these kind of things here, so you can actually have some nice coffee if you just bring the right grind. So bring some good coffee and enjoy yourself here. It's gotten warm quite quickly, so jacket's off for now, enjoying the sun. If the wind picks up later, I'll have to put it back on, but for now, sunshine in Iceland, I mean, that's like unheard of, right?
Leaving the hut behind, the trail immediately turned into something out of a fantasy movie. Soft green moss-covered paths wound their way through valleys, framed by colourful mountains glowing under the perfect blue sky. Tiny streams trickled across the landscape, catching the sunlight like shards of glass. It was calm, peaceful and magical. I had to keep stopping, not because the trail was hard, because every 5 minutes felt like another postcard moment. One of those hikes where you think, okay, this is the photo, and then you turn the corner and nope, that's the photo. I was making zero progress and I didn't even care.
I think I've arrived at the next river crossing. Yay! Let's see how this goes.
And then, the first river crossing of the day. Shoes off, socks on, deep breath. It didn't look too bad from the bank, but the second that glacier-fed water hit my ankles, I was instantly awake. Forget coffee, this is Iceland's way of kicking you straight into survival mode. Of course, because I'm filming this hike, I crossed the river 3 times to get the shot. By the last take, I was seriously questioning whether this YouTube thing was worth losing my toes for. Not long after the first river crossing, the landscape changed immediately. One minute I was surrounded by soft green moss and colourful mountains, and the next I stepped straight into what looked like a scene from another planet. A vast black sand plain stretched endlessly in front of me, framed by strange, jagged mountains in the distance. It was beautiful, yes, but in a slightly unsettling sci-fi kind of way. If a spaceship had landed right next to me, I don't think I would have been surprised. The first 10 minutes were incredible. Black volcanic sand underfoot, silence all around, dramatic peaks on the horizon. But after a while, it started feeling like hiker purgatory. You keep walking and walking and walking, but nothing seems to get any closer, just endless black sand. I swear at one point I looked at my GPS thinking I must have missed a turn. Nope, still on track. Still in the same exact looking place I've been in for the last 45 minutes.
Right, just stopping here for a quick lunch. Like a lunch snack. It's about 1 o'clock now. Just after one. I think I'm about 3.5 kilometers away from the hut. So yeah, just a bit more than an hour left. Judging by the current pace. Today is very beautiful. I mean, the weather is incredible. But yeah, there was a long section now where it feels like purgatory, where you walk through this black sand volcanic area and it's just flat and goes on forever. Beautiful for a while, and then it's just like purgatory. It's like, okay. But yeah, heading towards the end now. We'll see if I can grab a nice hot shower tonight or this afternoon before other people arrive. And then yeah, have a proper lunch and just relax a bit. It's been another unbelievable day. Tomorrow will be the final day of the actual Laugavegur Trail. I'll stay on for another 2 days to do the extension. So yeah, it's really a beautiful trail, highly recommended. Yeah, you don't really find these kind of trails anywhere else, so highly recommended. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's finish this last section.
Finally, after what felt like hours of walking through purgatory, I crested a hill and there it was, the Emstrur hut stuck between the mountains. It looked like a tiny oasis at the edge of nowhere.
There it is, end of day 3 on the Laugavegur Trail. Hut is just down there. It's another 200 meters or so. I get this backpack off, it's feeling a bit heavy today. But yeah, another gorgeous day. Oh, such good weather. Yeah, very blessed to have this. So I think having a nice little bite to eat. Hopefully I'll shower. Looking forward to that day. And then yeah, halfway through the trail for me.
I checked in with the warden and as usual I was early enough to pick my mattress. The good news, I got an edge where I could use my bag for packing with a perfect view of the valley. The bad news, the entire hut is basically one giant room full with mattresses squeezed so close together you could high-five your neighbor in your sleep. It's less private alpine retreat and more Icelandic sardine factory. But none of that mattered because this was the day I've been waiting for, my first shower of the trip. €7 for 5 glorious minutes of hot water, activated by QR code. So pro tip, be ready before you scan, because the second the code goes through, you're on the clock. First hot shower on this trip. I need it. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. Don't expect too much. 5 minutes hot shower for 1,000 Icelandic currency. Expensive, but I need it now. Wish me luck. I stepped out feeling like a new man, questioning why I hadn't packed cologne to complete the transformation. That shower felt amazing. So of course I got some chips and some soda from the shop, little shop that's here. Enjoyed that outside quickly, but it's a bit windy, so now inside having a nice cup of coffee. So it's the life. I'm the first one here in the hut, so I could choose my little bed. If the space is full, it's going to be cramped. My goodness. Anyway, enjoying the peace and quiet for now at least. So. Cheers. Later the group started rolling in and the hut filled up fast, and that's when I learned something important. Guided groups live very different lives out here. While I was rehydrating my freeze-dried noodles, one group was setting up an actual salmon barbecue in the middle of the Icelandic Highlands. Salmon grilled out here. I'd love to say I wasn't jealous, but that would be a lie. At least I had whiskey to make up for it. And honestly, sitting outside with a glass in hand, watching the light fade over the mountains, didn't feel like I was missing out on too much. I woke up on day 4 and it immediately felt different. Gone with the blue skies and golden light of yesterday. Instead, the clouds hung low, grey and heavy.
Here we go, day 4 of the Laugavegur Trail. Whew, a little uphill to have to catch my breath. Yeah, so officially this is the last day of the Laugavegur Trail. I'll of course go on with the extra 2 days. But yeah, the camp was nice. Unbelievable views from the huts. Tiny and squashed, but yeah, this is part of the adventure, right? It was a good way to meet some people from different tours and stuff and groups. Very nice people. Yeah, mostly yesterday just took it easy, read a bit, took in the views. The group that was sleeping with me had a nice barbecue with salmon, so yeah, it was like a fun time. But today, I think it's about 16 kilometers, 10 miles, Also same as yesterday, up and down slightly, but mostly flat. I think there's another river crossing as well, probably the biggest one of the trip so far. But yeah, today is a bit foggy. Weather forecast didn't say anything about rain, so it's up. And then yeah, hopefully I'll get to a hut with some signal, some reception, and be able to message people that I'm still okay. So but otherwise, I'm gonna take it easy today, a lot of footage, and just enjoy it. It's such a beautiful trip, really something different, so highly recommend it. Let's get to this.
It wasn't freezing yet, but it was definitely colder. The kind of weather that says, Iceland wants to remind you who's in charge. My legs were stiff after 3 straight days of hiking, so the first flat stretch of black sand and rocky paths was actually a blessing. I used it as a warm-up. Part stretch, part shuffle, part please don't let my knees quit on me now. Even in the moody light, the scenery was still stunning, more dramatic than yesterday. Dark volcanic rock, streaks of green moss, and low clouds clinging to the ridges. It felt like walking into a final act of a movie, where everything gets a little darker, a little grittier, before the big finale.
A bit of feedback so far. I'm just over halfway now, of course. I think if the weather is good and you're taking it sort of the shorter days like I'm doing, like every hut basically, as the stages are recommended, then I think it's probably a easy to moderate hike, right? It's a bit of distance, a bit of river crossing, nothing too hectic. I think the huts are nice so you can stay warm. Campsites are nice if the weather is good. Good facilities. Bit of climbing here and there, a bit of river crossing, but nothing too bad. If the weather is bad, yeah, that's a different story. I think that's when it becomes a bit more dangerous, a bit more challenging, a bit cold. Then it'll probably be moderate. If you're in a tent, probably moderate to hard. And of course you can extend the days as well, up and down, further and longer if you want. And then of course get more challenging as well. For the actual Laugavegur Trail, the 4 days or 4 sections, there's quite a bit of water and things to get on way as well, to resupply. Most of the huts I've been to have sort of snacks and things, and they're all actually taken card, but it's always good to have cash in case they don't have, reception or it's not working. There's no cell phone reception or Wi-Fi on any of these huts, so just to take note of those kind of things. But there's been snacks, there's been hot showers if you're willing to pay 1,000 Icelandic krones for it. So yeah, it can be quite nice. Like I said, it will be challenging if the weather turns bad, but I've been lucky up until today. The weather's been very good. Even today, a bit foggy, but no wind, not too cold. So looking forward to a nice day of walking. Let's do this.
After a long flat warm-up, the trail suddenly tilted downhill, and not in a friendly way. This was a steep, sandy descent where every step felt like a trust exercise with gravity. The sand was loose and slippery, and I quickly learned that my hiking poles weren't for balancing anymore, they were for emergency braking. But going slower had its perks, the views. From up here you could see the valleys opening up below, painted in blacks and greens with streaks of red volcanic rock peeking through. Moody clouds drifted across the ridges, making everything look like a scene out of a fantasy movie. At the bottom, the landscapes got even better. Narrow gorges cut into the earth, rivers rushing through them, and trails that wound along the edges. The combination of dark volcanic slopes, mossy cliffs, and the roar of the water made this one of the most dramatic sections of the entire trail so far. path stretched on for what felt like forever, straight through the surreal, colourful valley. It was the first time I caught myself thinking, wow, Iceland actually looks alive. And it was a nice change too, a softer, more vibrant contrast to the brutal black highlands I've been walking through. Still wild, still dramatic, but now with a touch of autumn magic. Just when I thought the trail was easing up, we threw in one last challenge, the final river crossing. And this one, it was no joke. Wide, rocky, and with a current strong enough to make you double check your balance. I scouted for a path, took a deep breath and stepped in. Instant brain freeze from the icy water. And every rock underfoot felt like it was plotting against me. Shoes off, poles down, one slow step at a time. Let's just say it wasn't the most graceful crossing, but I made it to the other side with all my gear, my dignity only slightly down. After that, the trail eased into something rare for Iceland, an actual forest. This time not just bushes, but real, head-high trees. It felt surreal, like I'd walked from Mars straight into Middle Earth.
And that's it. Day 4 done. Made it to Þórsmörk, just 5 minutes away. So this is officially the end of the Laugavegur Trail. Can you believe it? Made it! The last river crossing as well. It's not too bad. The waters were stronger than the other one, but that's okay. Another beautiful day.
And then a twist. I accidentally ended up at the volcano huts, thinking it was my final stop. Turned out it wasn't, but it was a very good mistake. Because suddenly I was sitting at a table with a burger and ice-cold Icelandic beer right in front of me. After 4 days of freeze-dried meals and trail snacks, that first bite felt like a religious experience. Add in some Wi-Fi to reconnect with the outside world, and yeah, it felt like a perfect way to celebrate finishing the Laugavegur Trail. From there it was just a 2-kilometer walk to my actual hut, where I checked in, grabbed another hot shower, because why not, and settled into my corner bunk.
And why not? Let's have a quick shower. I mean, there's no one else here, and it's my last shower for the trip, so might as well use it, right? Got some extra cash, spend it, another 1,000 down the drain. But tomorrow there will be no showers. Tomorrow there might be a bit of rain apparently, so let's get us warm and comfy, because tomorrow is going to be cold.
I woke up on day 1 at the Fimmvörðuháls Trail with mixed feelings. On one hand, I had just finished the Laugavegur Trail, My legs were tired and part of me thought, you know what, a lazy day in Þórsmörk wouldn't be so bad. On the other hand, there was no way I was skipping this. This is one of the most famous extensions in Iceland and it would take me all the way to Skógafoss. The only problem? The warden had warned me, expect wind, expect rain, but could be manageable. Which basically in Icelandic is, good luck, you're on your own.
So this is it. This is now part of the extension, the first day. I'm going to be hiking mostly upwards today, so it's going to be a tough one, about 1,000 meters up, about 11 kilometers. So it's going to take me a while. The warden said there's probably rain coming after 12, so I need to be up there before 12, otherwise it's going to be really tricky and cold. So it's going to be there by the glacier. It's going to be cold today, so I need to get up there and stay warm. So got my rain gear on just in case. The weather is looking cloudy up there, so let's see.
So a little nervous, I packed extra snacks and water, pulled on my rain gear and set off early. The first section eased me in, a flat stretch across a dried up riverbed, followed by bridges over some roaring glacier rivers.
So last night's hike was pretty good here at Þórsmörk. Yeah, probably one of the nicest ones on the entire trail. If you want to rest up after your long hike at Laugavegur, nice place to do it. Nice big kitchens, nice bunk beds. Yeah, I think everyone was also quite happy for finishing the trail. So yeah, also has a nice reception area. We also charged devices, but it was full when I got there, so I couldn't get the chance. Yeah. And there's a restaurant, the Volcano Huts, about 2 kilometers away. So if you want to have a nice meal, there's an option for that as well. Yeah, so very nice. Weather is not bad at the moment. I'm gonna see how far I can get while this weather is lasting. So we'll see how much videos and photos I can do today. But I think the priority is to get up there before the rain. So wish me luck. By the way, my body is feeling a bit tired today. I think it doesn't feel like to be a difficult trail, but it does wear out you after a couple of days. Any trails like that. So listen to your body and just take it step by step, right? Yeah, we'll get there, we'll get there. Bag was a bit heavy now with all the water in there, so let's see.
The trail then climbed gently alongside a river with a mountain looming beside me. Cloudy skies, cool air, no rain yet. For Iceland, this was basically perfect hiking weather. I knew what was coming though, a steep, exposed climb of over 1,000 meters of elevation. So yeah, nerves were high, legs were already whispering, really? Again? But it was time to go up. And then the climbing began. At first it was steady, winding through the low forest, a rare treat in Iceland, but soon the trees gave way and the trail just pointed straight up. Within minutes my legs were burning, my lugs were working overtime and my inner voice was asking some very fair questions like, didn't we just hike over 55 kilometers? Shouldn't we be done by now? The higher I climbed, the more exposed it got. The wind started picking up, clouds drifting across the valley below. It was kind of a climb where you stop to take photos, but really you're just trying not to collapse on the spot. Eventually though, I reached the ridgeline, and suddenly the pain didn't matter anymore. The views open in every direction, 360 degrees of mountains, valleys and glaciers. Dark volcanic ridges stretched out in front of me, while massive sheets of ice shimmered in the distance. It felt raw, dramatic, and just a little intimidating. Like Iceland was showing off and reminding me who was boss. The weather was still holding, but just barely. I could feel the rain in the air, waiting for the perfect moment to crash the party. Just when I thought the ridge climb was the hard part, Iceland reminded me we still had a few tricks raining. The rain finally arrived, cold, sharp and carried on gusts of wind that made me double check every step. The trail tilted steeply again, forcing me to stop every few minutes just to catch my breath. Not much footage here, partly because of the weather and partly because I was too busy trying not to fall over. And then suddenly the ground changed. The rocky path gave way to an alien landscape, a volcano zone, black lava rock, streaks of green moss, and flashes of deep red stone painted in the mountainside. It was like walking into a completely different world. The area is famous because it was created by the 2010 eruption, the same eruption that shut down in the European airspace for days. Up here, you're literally walking across fresh volcanic history. The rain eased for a while and I could finally take it all in. Jagged ridges, steaming vents and patches of snow that looked almost silver against the black and red. At one point, it felt like I was walking through a black and white movie. Just me, the volcanic rock and the mist. Surreal doesn't even begin to cover it.
Okay, so make no mistake, that was some tough climbs, really steep. Luckily the weather was good, otherwise it would have been more tough. I was out of breath a couple of times, legs are burning. But I think I've reached the end of the climb for the day. Now it's just flat through the volcanic fields. I think, if I remember correctly, this volcano was created less than a decade ago, or just a bit more than a decade ago. So yeah, it is an incredible sight to walk between these volcanic fields. Yeah, and also walking up, you sort of pass this beautiful glacier next to you. the views are incredible. So if you're up for a bit of a challenge, definitely worth it. Beautiful.
The volcanic zone gave way to something even more dramatic, the glacier. The path narrowed, the wind picked up, and soon I found myself edging across slick, icy slopes. And just as my legs started asking for early retirement, I spotted it, the hut. Perched up high between the glaciers, it felt like the top of the world. Remote, windswept, and absolutely magical.
And there we go. Day 5 done, or day 1 with the extension. Managed to reach the hut. And I try to get warm now and something to drink. That was a tough climb. Yeah, let's do this.
Inside I was welcomed by the warden, who as it turns out has been working here for over 25 years. She greeted us like old friends, offering free hot coffee and hot chocolate to every tired hiker who stumbled through the door. In a place like this, that first sip feels like liquid happiness. The hut itself was cozy and simple. Mattresses lined up across the top floor, everyone side by side. I was lucky to arrive early, so I snagged a spot under the window slightly away from the sardine pile. No showers, of course, but there was running water, a stash of snacks for sale, and yes, they even take card. And outside, a tiny toilet house with one of the best views on the planet. Not many bathrooms can compete with a glacier backdrop. The rest of the evening was spent reading, eating, and swapping stories with new trail friends. Somehow up here in the middle of nowhere, it felt like the perfect reward for a long, brutal, but unforgettable day. Waking up on day 2 felt surreal. I looked out the window and it was completely clear. Blue skies, bright sun, until I realized we were actually above the clouds. It was beautiful, but I knew the descent would take me straight back into the mist. After a quick breakfast, I packed my bag, said goodbye to the hut, and started the long walk down.
final day, can you believe it? Second day of the Fimmvörðuháls, however you pronounce it. So on my way to Skógafoss. It should be about a 14-kilometer hike, mostly downhill, and apparently we're passing down about 20 waterfalls on the way there. And really looking forward. And look at this day, blue skies, almost no wind. I mean, what a way to end this epic trip, right? Love it. Anyway, let's get started. By the way, this hut was very cute. I mean, very basic. Only recently, about 2 years ago, they managed to have running water up here, so there is now tap water up here. So I was very nervous in the beginning that you have to bring all your own water, etc. But that's working. There's one little bathroom there, there's one toilet there as well. But they're sleeping around with this quite sort of cramped top. So be prepared for that. You're going to be just one floor just with mattresses and sort of walking over each other a little bit. But overall, what a nice hut. I mean, the lady working there is epic. She is really brilliant. She's been working there for over 12 years already. Very sweet. Gave everyone hot chocolate and coffee. I mean, what more do you want? So, and then also accepts card and also has some snacks and stuff as well and some beers. So how epic to have that at such a remote location. And look at that setting. You know, views of the glacier, blue skies, above the clouds. This is really amazing. So if you can, this is really a nice hike. It's a bit tough to get here, but it's really worth it at the end. So highly recommend it.
The first section was unreal. Volcanic fields stretched out with the glacier behind me. The sky crystal clear. It felt like one last reminder of just how epic this trail can be.
Wow, this is really what it's about, right? 7:30 in the morning, no one else around, clear skies, glacier in front of you, and you're walking in Iceland, the land of fire and ice. After 5 days of walking, the 6th day feels like a celebration. This has really been a good trip. Iceland, you've been very kind to me, and I do appreciate it. I know you can be angry sometimes without any cruelty, but this was definitely a highlight of some of my trips, and it was nice to end like yesterday with a nice tough hike, just to feel like you've accomplished something. So yeah, to be between the glaciers here, it's really something special. Heart is full, very happy man right now.
Then came the clouds. I walked straight into them. The world turned grey, mist swirling around me. The air was damp, the ground was slick, and suddenly everything felt cinematic, like stepping into a moody Icelandic film. Eventually the clouds thinned and I began to hear it before I saw it. Waterfalls. And not just one, not two, but over 20 waterfalls, scattered along the river cliffs as I descended towards Skógafoss. Some were small and delicate, trickling over mossy ledges. Others thundered into deep canyons, the spray hitting me from across the trail. It was impossible not to stop every 5 minutes just to stare. This section felt less like hiking and more like walking through Iceland's greatest hits album. And then finally the big one, Skógafoss. At first I reached the top, looking over the edge where the river plunged into the valley. Crowds of day hikers buzzed around me, a bit of shock after the days of remote solitude. But nothing prepared me for walking down the steps and standing at the bottom. The roar of the water, the mist filling the air, and me standing there soaking wet, realizing this was the end.
just like that, done with 6 days of hiking. Made all the way from Landmannalaugar to Skógafoss in 6 days. Just finished the 2 days of the extension of Laugavegur and got down into civilization again. Beautiful ending with Skógafoss here at the back. Really, really pretty. Of course, very popular as you can see, but that is the reason why. It's really a stunning, stunning waterfall. On the way here, I probably crossed about 20 waterfalls. Really a good route if you're up there. Nice little day hike as well. So yeah, that's it. Finished. Another one in the books. Now I need to find where my bus is to see if I can get back to Reykjavik. Laugavegur Trail, done and dusted. Cheers. Let's get in. And that was it, the end of the Fimmvörðuháls Trail, and with it the end of my entire Icelandic trek. From the rainbow mountains of Landmannalaugar to the stormy ridges of Hrafntinnusker, the mirror lakes of Álftavatn, the endless black deserts of Emstrur, and now across glaciers, lava fields and 20 waterfalls all the way down to Skógafoss. 6 days, 75 kilometers, 2 trails and 0 regrets. Looking back, it's hard to believe how much Iceland packed into a short distance. Every day felt like a new world: fire, ice, desert, forest and finally water. And somehow I got lucky with the weather, the people I met and the sheer variety of landscapes I'll never forget. Finishing at Skógafoss felt like a celebration lap. A reminder that the hardest work was done, and all that was left was to enjoy the power and beauty of Iceland one last time. Would I do it again? Absolutely. In fact, I already planned to come back. But for now, this chapter is closed. If you enjoyed coming along on this adventure, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and join me for the next journey. Iceland might be over, but the adventure definitely isn't. Until next time, keep exploring.
It's my 30th birthday and my parents got it for me, the flight and the hike. We actually never heard about it before, but yeah, so we got the flight, got the parents.
I think you did more research than me. I was trying to keep it like flat out as possible because I didn't want to see any pictures beforehand and stuff, so I was like going into the surprise and that definitely brought out all the openings up during the hike and stuff, so yeah, happy that I didn't do any research, but I think you did a bit more.
Yeah, I researched a little bit, not about the huts, we were just booking that, not too much information about that online actually, but yeah, researching the area, but left most of it to your surprise actually.
For me it was the first multi-day hike, and usually I was like not really into it because I was like expecting more same scenery. Like if you do a hike around like a big summit or something, it's like it's beautiful every day, but it's the same kind of environment. And I was hoping, and we got that back from this hike as well, that it was like every day it was like a different environment, different scenery, and that was a surprise for me. So maybe I learned a little bit then that like multi-day hikes are like can be like this as well.
I was surprised how windy it was. Super windy, rainy sometimes, but still super nice. No, actually not.
Maybe if we would have been in the tent on the second day where it was like on that mountaintop and the wind was gushing and stuff, like those poor people. Actually one guy from the tents came in the morning when we were leaving again. He was frozen up and he had to sleep there. He was, it was quite tough conditions there.
The huts is fine. The salmon.
The salmon,
Yeah, a big American group gave us free salmon, and I'm not a big fan, but every like 30 people in our small hut were eating salmon where we slept in as well. More snacks. Ending it healthy altogether.
No, I think to do this with your parents and stuff, and also on their age, and it was quite tough for your mom.
Yeah.
Like on some parts to indeed like finish that with like your elders. That's quite cool and quite challenging.
Just be able to do that with the parents too. So I think that's a core memory.
Yeah.
Pack light?
Pack light, yeah, definitely minimal with like your good base layers, then you get everywhere. And I did one testing day with some food. Like I was looking at the food and I was like, oh damn, that's like not enough. So I did like one testing day at home and I was like, okay-ish, like okay, I ate like a lot after, but
it was not a testing day.
Fair enough. But
enough snacks, but pack lightly.
Yeah. For now, one more week Iceland, and then we are thinking about the Philippines.
Something warmer.
Something warm and chill, and good food.